Hey guys, it's your girl Designisme. Welcome back to Designisme Daily, where we design our own clothes, we design our own business, and we design our own lives. And in today's video, I'll be giving you guys my version of Cruella De Vil. Alright, if you're interested in seeing how I made this super cute blazer dress inspired by the infamous Cruella De Vil, then please keep on watching. And also, if you're interested in this makeup look, I do have a video that should have been posted already at the time that you're looking at this video, so definitely go check it out. I will be sure to link it down below. And without further ado, let's jump into the video. You're gonna need 2 pieces of fabric, one for your main fabric, one for your lining fabric, your pattern pieces, fabric scissors, and some pins. In front of you, you should have 2 pieces for your front, 1 piece for your back, cut and fold. And I just wanted to quickly show you guys that because I did not purchase enough of this fabric, I did have a problem fitting my pattern pieces on, so I had to cut those pattern pieces into smaller pieces just to get them to fit. But once you guys have enough fabric, you should not have a problem. Just proceed as usual. You should have 2 pieces for your sleeve, but because I had to cut this in half, I have 2 pieces for either piece, but connected it's gonna be 2 sleeves. You're gonna need 2 pieces for your sleeve lining, 1 piece for your back lining, cut and fold, 2 pieces for your facing, back facing, or 1 piece for your back facing if it's cut and fold, 2 pieces for your front facing and lining. And then these are just the pieces that make up our front lining band and the back lining band that I also had to cut into smaller pieces, but you'll kind of get the point. You're gonna need 2 pieces for your collar, and let's get started. I like to start by constructing my back first, so I went ahead and inserted our inverted dots, and I'm just placing my front pieces onto the back pieces right sides facing each other, and I'm gonna close that off with a nice half-inch stitch along the sides. Once that is done, I'm gonna set that aside, and I'm gonna construct the front lining. So I have the 2 pieces for my front facing here, and I'm just gonna attach the front lining to the facing. Once that is constructed, I did stitch and stop up to a point, and the reason I stopped up to that point is so that we could add our front lining band. Once we have that connected, we can continue stitching to close off that front lining. And there you have it. Once that is completely stitched, this is how your front lining should look, and go ahead and do that to the other side as well. We're gonna do the same thing to the back lining, guys. Just construct the back facing to the back lining. Line up your notches, and all of these stitches are half-inch stitches, guys, because it is completely lined. And we're gonna do the same thing to the back lining band. Just go ahead and line that up, half-inch stitch, and this is how our lining band should be looking. I like to leave this back lining down and just lay the body of our blazer on top of that, and then I like to attach the front facing and lining to the front. Now just ignore those stitches, guys. I did stitch this previously, but I stitched it wrong, so I had to take it out. But just pay attention to this part because we're about to stitch it right. Okay, so we're just gonna attach our front facing to the front of our blazer, and we're stitching that with a half-inch stitch, of course, all the way down. And once that is constructed, we're just gonna flip that over and attach our back lining to the front lining using a half-inch stitch on the sides. Okay, so once the 2 sides are constructed, we are now going to attach our shoulders. Do not forget to snip your edges, your curved edges. I'm just flipping it over, and we're gonna attach our shoulders with shoulders. Okay, it is a lot of layers, guys, so just be patient with yourself. Lay everything out nice and flat, so it could be easy to construct and easier to understand. So we're just gonna line up shoulders on shoulders, construct the lining first, and we're gonna do the same thing for the body of our shoulders. Okay, right sides facing each other, of course, and we're just going to secure that with a 1/2 inch stitch. Once those shoulders are constructed and you're happy with the way it looks, go ahead and make sure that all your peaks are perfectly pointed. I did find that the lining was a little bit bulky, so I went ahead and inserted the same dots that is on my body fabric. All right, once you're happy with that, we're going to construct our collar, right sides facing each other. Make sure that your notches are lined up with the notches, and we're just going to stitch along the entire circumference of the top of our collar only. Go ahead and snip your corners. Flip that over, and you could use some pins just to turn your corners out. I'm also going to drop a top stitch along the top of that, which gives that really nice tailored type of vibe. And because this is a plush fabric, it just gives a nice quilted type of energy, and we love that. Okay, so once you're satisfied with the construction of your collar, let's just go ahead and lay that down. We're going to grab our blazer dress again, and we are going to insert our collar into the neckline of our blazer. We basically just sandwiching the collar into the 2 layers of fabric. All right, so just go ahead and insert that, line up your center notch with center notch, secure it with a pin, and just go ahead and stitch. Remember that the allowance is a 1/4 inch for the neckline, guys, but you might be able to get away with 3/8 inch just because of how many layers of fabric this is. All right, but no more than 3/8 inch. Fantastic. So we're just going to stitch all the way along that neckline, securing the collar in between the both layers. And do the same thing to the other side. I like to start at the center just so everything is nice and even. Great. Take your time. It's a lot of layers, y'all. Take your time. And plush does move, so take your time. Great. And we are just going to finish off that other side. Great. Snip, because this is a curve. This is the most important curved edge, guys, so make sure and snip so it lays nice and flat. We're just going to turn that around, and we are going to close off our hem. All right, so where we stopped at that stitch, we're just going to continue from there, 1/2 inch stitch all the way around, and we are going to leave a space, guys, as you would see in a little while. Stitch all the way along that hemline, 1/2 inch. And we are going to leave a space and continue the stitch all the way to the end. Fantastic. You guys are doing an awesome job. Okay, great. So we're going to turn our blazer dress inside out from that hole that we would have just left. That's the reason why we leave this space, guys, so that we can turn things. All right, so once we have turned that to the right side, we are now going to use a pin and just make sure that all of our corners are turned out nice and neat and everything is laying nice and flat. Just be careful, guys, when you're using this pin, because you don't want to pop any of your threads. Okay, now we're gonna go in from our armhole, and we're just gonna close off that space that we would have just left. once that is closed off, just go ahead and flip it. Use your pins if you need to, and we're just gonna drop a top stitch along our collar. I'm just using a pin to turn my corners out a little bit more. All right, go ahead and pivot your needle, and we're gonna stitch all the way down. All right, and we are gonna stop up to a certain point. All right, so we're not gonna stitch all the way along our hem. We're gonna stop at this point, and be sure to do the same thing to the other side. All right, we did not take it past that point. Good. Now that that is done, we are gonna construct our sleeve. And we are going to treat this sleeve like a set-in sleeve, so you're going to want to make sure that your sleeve fits perfectly well, no overlaps. All right, go ahead and turn that on the right side, and we are just going to insert our set-in sleeve into the armhole. Right sides facing each other, line up your armhole notch, and we're just going to stitch all the way around that. All right, once our sleeve is inside, we are now going to grab our lining, and we're going to construct the lining the exact same way we constructed the sleeve. Go ahead and close it off. So make sure that your sleeve fits well. I'm emphasizing, make sure that your sleeve fits well. Fantastic. Once your sleeve lining is constructed, we are now going to put that sleeve lining over the sleeve. Like that. It's almost like the sleeve lining is swallowing the actual sleeve. Make sure that the notches are lined up. Sorry, the seams are lined up, and we're just going to secure that with a 1/2 inch stitch. Just a reminder, guys, remember that the sleeve lining is 2 inches shorter than the actual sleeve, even though it is the same pattern. All right, and this is the reason why we need it to be a little bit shorter, so that when we turn it like so, it has that little bit of an overlap. All right, so it's almost like it has a facing on the hem of the sleeve without adding an extra facing. All right, so we're just gonna line up our sleeve lining with the lining armhole, right sides facing each other, and we're just gonna stitch along one side and along the other side as much as we could, and whatever is left, we're just gonna hand stitch closed. And that is the key to getting a completely reversible blazer. Guys, because this lining did have a bit of stretch going in this direction, I decided to just stitch it secured. So you are going to see this stitch on the right side of the fabric, but have no fear. Just go ahead and use a color thread that is the same color thread. Don't be like me and use black thread on gray fabric. It's not a good look. All right, but just for the sake of this video, let's just pretend. All right, so when you look on the inside, as you can see, it is perfectly seamless. You are not seeing that stitch, and that is because we stitched in the ditch. All right, go ahead and snip your threads. Make sure it's nice and neat. And once you are satisfied with the way that looks, just go ahead and grab your needle and thread, and we are going to stitch that little opening on the inside of our sleeve lining. This is just a trick that I like to use, guys. Just grab some beeswax if you do not want your thread to tangle, and just rub that beeswax all along the thread, and I guarantee all your hand stitches is going to be super easy and seamless. No tangles, guys. That's the power of beeswax. All right, so that is basically it for our video, guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you guys enjoy videos like these, do not forget to leave me a like, leave me a comment in the comment section below, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Now let's go try it on and see how it looks.